Hi, in this video I would like to make a little tutorial introduction about a program called Cascadeur. It's a program that you can use to animate characters. You can import a skinned character and animate it. So myself, I'm not really an animator, but I try to learn and I pick this program, which is free, has a free version at least, and I try to learn how to animate people with that. So just a little introduction to how it works. So when you open the program, you have this window, you have your projects that you created, and in the Learn tab you have the predefined character. So we'll pick one of those to start. We will pick the Unreal Mannequin. And here you can see the mannequin. The layout is pretty standard. You have the viewport to navigate. You use Alt plus mouse style controls. So Alt plus left, plus right, plus middle buttons. And here you have this thing to, a perspective of like that. And there is also a shortcut. If you click Alt and Control, it will snap to the nearest plane. And if you click Snap and Control, you drag your mouse, it will snap to the direction of your drag. And you can split this window in two by clicking the the space, by pressing the space button. So now here you have the character with the controls, and that's the thing used to animate. Now we have here you have the various usual actions. So you have the select, translate, rotate as usual, with the same shortcuts Q, W and E, like in most of the programs. And here, this button, you have local mode and global mode also, like in most of the programs. So if you want to animate, to move something, you will select like for example the foot, and you will rotate it, and you will see that it won't rotate. So that's the first thing that is kind of was probably for me just difficult in the beginning, is that you have to select the whole feet and then rotate it. And you can select it like that, or you can double click on the topmost control point, they are called, and it will select all the children. And for the translate is the same, and if you select just one, it will do some kind of IK like that, so it works too. Another thing that I kind of which was a little bit confusing for me in the beginning, is that there are all those points. For example, for the head are different points, and actually all three of those controls the head. So if you want to rotate the head, you need to choose the 3 points. But if you choose like this one, you can translate it, and it will move the head like so, and this one too. And as you see, every time you move something a little bit too much, there's some kind of IK that's applied to the rest of the character. So if you don't want to the IK to be applied, you can lock the things. You can select them and press R button. And now they are locked. So if I move the whole upper body, you see this foot here will not move at all. And if you move too much, you see they become red. It means they are overstretched. Okay, to unlock, you press R again. So before that, I just selected all the upper body in one click. There are predefined selection groups binded to the number key. So 1 is the upper body, for example. 2 is a little bit less of the upper body. 3 is the right arm. 4 left arm, etc. And you can define your own by selecting some points and pressing Ctrl plus number key. For example, Ctrl 0. I define it this. Now if I click 0, it selects. So those are selection sets, which are pretty useful. Another thing about the selection, I will reload it. As you can see, every time you open a new model, it will create a tab, and you can copy paste stuff between tabs. For example, I can take this character, copy it, and global mode, and select everything here and paste it. So, which is interesting, is the copy paste. You can only copy paste positions of those control points, by the way. You cannot copy paste the mesh itself. Which is interesting is the copy paste is that it obeys the mode. So you can, for example, if I want to, I don't know, like do something like so. Now if I copy this position in global mode and paste it here, it will go like so. But if I like I don't know, like if I move the arm like so, oops, and and for example, I move the rest of the body, and now if I copy the arm in the local mode, it will apply that relative to the parent. Oops. I miss it. You see? Like so. And those things, we can check them also here. So here you have the outliner that shows you different objects in this scene and their properties. And here you have scene settings. And there's different settings here, but what interesting us now is the copy parameters. And so you can choose local or global. It's just a, the copy of this thing. And you can choose also if you copy all the position or just, for example, one coordinate. For example, I can only copy the forward axis, and that can be useful. Now about the selection, there's more interesting things. So when you select something, you have this gizmo relative to a pivot point. And the pivot point, you can change it by simply right-clicking on something. And you can click really on anything you want. And then it will, like, if you click on this one, it will rotate like so. And if you click on this one, it will rotate all the selection relative to this point. And for example, you can combine this and the locking. So I can lock those, then select those two, then use I don't know, like this as pivot point, so you have this kind of motion. So right clicking on a point, you move the pivot. Yeah, that's it. So we've seen the selection groups. Now let's see the part about animating. Here you have the timeline, and those blue things are the keys. And if you want to make a key, you press F or you click here. And there's also auto key mode. You have to choose this A button. So if you don't have a key, your edit will be just cancelled every time. And if you have a key, the edit is stored in the key. Here you have the play, stop, etc. buttons. Here you have the button. You have two buttons. You can snap the length of the timeline to the last key or to the first key. So now we have this. This is because we have stepped we cannot say interpolation, but it will just play this key and this key, stepped interpolation. So if you want really animate them, you will choose the interval by clicking and dragging, and then you will choose one of those interpolations. So for example, Bézier. And so now our fit is moving. And here you have the tracks. And the tracks are simply, in fact, collection of points. For example, the head is those 3 points. And the body is that. Then you have the legs, etc. And if you double click on it, you choose it. And if you choose something and you click on plus here, you put those selected points into a track. And the interest of the track is that you can specify different keys on just those tracks. And for example, we have this left leg. We can create, I don't know, additional key here. like move it somewhere, and we can specify different interpolation parameters. So like here it's the linear interpolation, and here you can see this line appeared. So let's check that. Let's open a new model because it's cool. This line is the interval. So for example, I would like to have this cat to move the arms. So I will move the arm here, this arm here, and like here. And here. And now the last frame I want the same that the first. So to copy frames, you can copy with Alt C, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, or you can middle button drag. No, sorry, middle button drag. It will just move the key. But to delete it, you press F again. But to copy, overwrite, you Shift and middle click drag. So now I have made this. So we see our friend moving the arms. So we have this thing called trajectory. Sorry. So here we can see how the trajectory of the hand looks like. For that we just select the whole interval, and we see and select the hands, and we see the trajectory, and this is controlled by those buttons that are different modes of showing the trajectory. And when it's enabled, every time you select an interval and some control points, you will see it. So let's use that for something. Let's, for example, take left arm, and we can see our interpolation here. It starts slowly, accelerates, and stops. That's because it's Bezier spline. And if we choose linear, so it will go like that. Also, we can see that the arms are moving in the straight line, the hands. That is because we have IK mode on this interval, and it's by default the default mode. If we want the arms to move in arcs, then we can use the FK mode. And you see how the interval changed. So that it's linear FK and that it's spline IK. So probably it's better to put spline here too. And now you can also see, for example, using another mode, you can see the trajectories of all the selected points, not only the point that has the pivot, like in this mode. How everybody, and in this mode you see also the positions, the intermediary positions of all the edges. And here you can also see everything together like that. Now it can be useful to edit one thing and look at the interval of another. For example, I want to check the interval of this point. I'm sorry, I always messing with those small words. I mean the trajectory of this point, of course. So for example, if we do something like so, and I want to see the trajectory of the top of the head, but I want to edit, for example, this thing. What I can do, I can use the tool that will lock which trajectory is shown, this tool here, and on which interval it's locked. So I will choose set trajectory interval and lock. And now I can choose anything I want. I will always see this interval. And if I, for example, edit a little bit, like so, I don't know, like so. I'm sorry. That's because I edited it not on the key. It created, like it called it fixed, I think. It created a key that override just this frame and not the others. No, have to move here. And now if I, well, for example, I create a key here and I'm in the middle of this. Now if I don't know, like rotate this thing. Oh, this won't move the head. If I do that, you can see how the trajectory of the head will move. And I didn't yet use it a lot, but you can also directly edit the trajectory of this point. So for example, if I click this and edit trajectory, all the trajectory points became editable, but I think they also follow the keys. So, but for example, I want to, I don't know, like here, maybe I create a key here, move the head a little bit, like so, and you see it will allow me to do it directly, editing the trajectory of the head. Which is cool. Now within that we can also see another tool. Well, there is simple tool to just show the silhouette. And by the way, I didn't yet show that, but here you have various display modes. All this time we will working in this mode, point controller mode. This mode shows you the point controllers and allows you to animate. This mode is the display mode, so it shows nothing but the mesh. And this is a box controller mode. There's just another way of viewing the controllers. And in both controller mode, there's, for example, the fingers that can be controlled. because they don't have those point controllers. And actually, I won't really talk about rigging here, but in the rigging mode here, you can see how it's made, the rig. All those blue things are the physical bodies, rigid bodies, that all have their, you know, like mass and size, and they're used in the to calculate the pose. And the fingers are too light, though they don't have really a physics body, and they don't have those point controllers. They don't have the box controllers. So that's why we only see them in the box mode. And you can edit the fingers the same way, so you can click on, like, double click on this finger and then move it. And if you want to you know, to bend it, to make a fist, there is a mode here that will distribute the rotation on the children. So when you click this button, it will show this curl, and it means that it, you see, it bends everybody at the same time. It is called local tail mode. So it's like to curl a tail. There's a cat in the, I mean tiger. And so if you take the tail in this mode, we can do that. Okay. Yeah. Another tool on the toolbar is the ghost tool. You can see the ghosts, like here it shows previous frame and next frame. Well, we have only 2 frames, but if you take some pre-made animation, for example, there's animation of cat jumping, you can see more of them. That's the mode of you see previous and next. You can increment here, and that's useful if you want, for example, to align the feet of the character, you know, when it have to jump like this. Now, to end with this bar, so we've seen that just the location, rotation, useful stuff, that's the local and global mode. That's the tail mode, that's the ghosts, that's the silhouette. Those are the trajectories. This one I never use it. I will not talk about it. This is the button that can be used to fix the camera on some point, so the camera will follow it. Like so. And that's, I think, everything about basic stuff. Another very useful tool that we have here, that's also a basic thing, is the mirror tool. So for example, I don't know, you're making some like running animation, and you want to mirror the pose between frame. So you can just like to begin, you just copy this pose somewhere, like here. And then you use the mirror tool. You choose the plane, which will be YZ, and you mirror the pose on the current frame. And so now you have those two poses. And I think that's all for the basic stuff. Now I will maybe later make another video about the ballistic tool and autophysics, but I first I think need to study them a little bit more. Thank you, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. Bye bye.